Hello. Hey, everybody. Sorry, I got the wrong glasses on. I got the wrong notification. I am ready. I am here. It is 6:59. Let's get this party started. So, we are talking about how to ditch the imposter syndrome today. And I am excited for this one because I know this comes up a lot for so many of you. So, say hi as you come in. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you are tuning in from. And tell me also, what part of imposter syndrome gets you in terms of doula work. So, imposter syndrome shows up in so many ways. So, first, let's just talk about what it is. Imposter syndrome is like you feel like an imposter, and because you feel like an imposter, you don't get out there and do the doula work. So, for instance, you don't feel like you're good enough to go get hired by clients. You don't feel like that you're trained enough. You don't feel like you're experienced enough. You feel like other doulas in your town are going to get hired because they've been around longer and they have more experience. So you just you feel like an imposter because you're just new. You just finished your training, or you finished your training a year ago. Who knows? All right. Jessica's here from Nova Scotia. Margaret from San Jose. I see Karen. I see Allison. Hippy dippy doula. Yay. Okay. Technology's working. So that's what imposter syndrome is when I talk about it. It's the feeling like that you're not good enough. You're not ready to go serve as a doula. So, the number one thing I want to tell you is if you have taken your training and finished your training, you are ready. There's no doula police. You don't need to be certified. That's great. If and when you go, do get certified. But if you've taken a doula training, you are good to go. That you have the skills and the knowledge to serve as a doula. Yes, and we've already talked about, last week I was talking about that feeling of hiding behind taking more training as a way to hide from being ready to do doula work. You're like, oh, I'll go take another training. I'll go get certified in this, and I'll get certified in that. And that is all great. But I just, that's a form of imposter syndrome when you just keep taking trainings because you're nervous about actually doing the work. So you have to kind of get over that feeling and just realize it's now or nothing. You got to go. And the way to do that, my favorite way to do that is to, first of all, think about how dismal the situation is for birthing people and postpartum families right now, and even pre-COVID. I mean, the supports are horrible. So, and I always talk, I'm more of a postpartum doula, so these moms are home alone, bleeding, leaking milk, crying, hormones are crazy, hormones are going crazy, and they have a newborn that's crying, and they have no idea what they're doing. Just showing up and washing the dishes in her sink, she will be so grateful. So all this to say, you do not, as a doula, you do not need to be the world's leading expert on all things newborn. As a birth doula, you do not need to be the world's leading expert on all things birth and every single intervention and everything that's going to happen. Yes, it's great as you work and you gain more experience and take more trainings. I'm all for taking more trainings. But just remember that original doula study that we all talk about from, and that all the not a lot all, but a lot of the research on doula care is based on the study out of Guatemala, where they had, women that were giving birth, a curtain, and they told the birthing people, there's a woman on the other side of the curtain who has given birth before. And those labors were faster. Those mothers felt better supported. They had better outcomes, blah, 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 versus the control group that was birthing alone. So in that study that improved outcomes, the doulas weren't even doulas. They were just people sitting in a chair that had given birth before. So, that's what the studies are based on. A person showing up and literally not even doing anything, but just literally being there, not even looking. There was a curtain. They couldn't even see each other. So, that... it's kind of funny, but you can show up and do nothing and you still make it better for a birthing person and a postpartum person, because at least they're not alone. So you show up, and if you took a doula training, that means you have the heart, you have the calling, you have the passion for this work. So you're not going to just show up and not do anything. You're going to show up and be supportive, cheer them on, praise the work that they're doing. If it's a postpartum situation, you're going to do the dishes in the sink. You're going to change the baby's diaper. That's another thing that we have to remember, especially in the postpartum world. We've taken all these trainings, we've read all these books, we watch all the movies, and we get, really into the nitty-gritty of certain aspects of newborn care and feeding and things like that. You have to remember that the typical person that's giving birth, they know nothing in general. So, I'm always blown away still, even 10 years in. Actually, a whole different subject. This is what at first inspired me to create my online course for new moms. I realized that new moms are asking the same questions over and over again. Everybody's got the same simple questions. Yes, they get into more complex questions as you go, but for the majority of my work as a postpartum doula, they just want to know, am I doing a good job? And they're not flat out asking that, but they're asking, about, do I change the diaper before the feeding or after? And their questions are about the umbilical cord care and, my point is, their questions majority of them are simple, and the answers. And I'm sure the same is true in birth doula work. So again, I'm all for you getting experience. Yes, that is so necessary, and learning all the things. But if you're a newer doula who's nervous about getting started, you have so much to offer. And please, please, please don't forget that. And also remember that it's okay if something comes up. It is okay to say, I'm not quite sure about that. I want to look that up, or I want to talk to someone. I have a colleague who knows all about them. Let me touch base with them and get back to you. I tell my clients all the time, my doula coaching clients, I Google stuff while mom goes to the bathroom. If they have ask a complicated question or something, then I'm like, oh yeah, what was the latest on that? I'll Google it. I go to Kelly Mom and I look stuff up, and or sometimes I'll answer a question and I go home and I'm like, wait a minute, I said the wrong thing. So I'll shoot them a text and be like, I've been thinking about it, or here's something else I just remembered. Oh, good. Karen says she does that too. So that is okay. I give the example all the time as a postpartum doula. At first I thought I needed to know how to use every baby carrier there ever existed, and every pump, and put together every bassinet, and you just don't. It is okay, and I have done this. Like, I'm not familiar with this one. Let's sit down together and look at the instructions. Or, while you go take a nap, I'll figure this thing out. I've done that too. So and you know what? Every time I've admitted that I don't know the answer to someone, that parent's face, you see them relax, like, oh, all right. She doesn't know. She's the doula. She doesn't know. Like, okay, I feel much better about myself for not knowing. You know, um, no, I was just talking about this today also in terms of social media and like having a social perfect, like, Instagram grid and all that. Like nobody wants that anymore. People don't want perfection in a doula. They're hiring you to see them naked and give birth, or they're hiring you to come postpartum and see you naked, probably, and come into their house at the most vulnerable time of their lives. They don't want perfection. They want down to earth and, just nice and compassionate and real. So it's totally okay to be real and say, you asked this question, I don't know the answer, but I know who to ask to find out. Like, that's what we ultimately, our role as doulas is. We need to know all the resources. We don't need to know all the answers, but we do need to know all the resources. So you go home from your shift, you look it up, you get back to them with the appropriate resources in your community. So that's all the things to remember going into this. The other place imposter syndrome comes up in terms of, not feeling ready to go work with clients yet, or not ready to go network with the other birth professionals in your community, or you're not ready to put yourself out there on social media. And here's the thing, a little tough love doula truth bomb, you just have to. I mean, if you want to be a doula, you have to network and you have to do some social media. And that's okay, because tap into your passion. Everybody laughs when I say this, but I'm shy. I am a huge introvert, but when I saw the words postpartum doula and realized that's what I wanted to do with my life, I had such a passion, such a fire in my belly. I did my training and I kept telling myself, like, okay, if I want to do this job, if I want this to be my job, I have to go to that networking event. I have to post about my services on social media. You just have to, you kind of have to tap into your passion for doula work to get yourself to do the things that are uncomfortable. And you know what? The more you do them, the easier it becomes. And then you get to do the work. Then you get the clients. You connect with a local photographer in your area. They send you some clients, and boom, you're a working doula now. So, and here's the thing. 10 minutes ago, I was like, oh God, what am I going to say on this live? I had a little bit of like, oh my God, do I really have enough to say about this? Yes. Okay. So I'm just saying, imposter syndrome is normal, first of all. You are not the first doula that has felt like you're not ready or good enough or smart enough or experienced enough to go serve. We're just humans. Imposter syndrome just is in the water. So that's the good news. It's normal. And tapping into your passion for this work is the way to plow through it and just get it done. The other thing that I like to think about, and this helped me a lot in the beginning of my doula career, was the idea of don't let your anxiety about putting yourself out there be the thing that stops someone from getting doula support. I mean, and if you think about it, doula support is life-changing. Sometimes like on a generational level. Are you going to let your fear of putting a post up on social media, or are you going to let your fear of reaching out to a local prenatal yoga studio be the thing that stops your future clients from getting this life-changing support? That is what it comes down to. That's what you are, missing out on, or that's what your clients are missing out on, your amazing support, if you're not letting them know you exist. So that has been a great mindset shift for a lot of my clients to help them get like the oomph that they need to start posting on social media more, to start reaching out to network in their community, to start talking to potential clients. Like, when you hold back from doing it, you're holding back you're holding someone back from getting the support that they deserve. Okay, Tiffany, this is a great point. I'm so glad that you're saying this. Tiffany says, the thing that comes to my mind though when you say this is that there are other doulas here for them to choose from, and they will likely hire them over me anyway. Why? Why would they likely hire another doula over you anyway? Yes, in some cases they will, but in some cases they won't. There is, again, that's another common thing too. And I don't want to sound like I never thought that. I totally thought that when I first started. Like, oh my God, there's other doulas out here that have been doing this for years, and I've literally not even helped one person yet. Like, who am I to say this? But one thing that really helped me is I called up my local hospital. There, at the time when I started, there were 2 other doulas in my area, 2 other postpartum doulas in my area. I called up the local hospital and asked them how many babies they delivered every year. And I can't remember. It was like 400 maybe. So I was like, 400 babies are born every year and there's only 2 other doulas? Like, there's plenty of people out here, you know, for me to work with. And I always talk about this, you know, hiring a doula is like choosing who you're going to date. It's very personal. So, Tiffany, some potential clients are going to connect with you. Yes, some are going to choose other doulas. And yes, especially when you're newer, yes, they may choose more experienced doulas, but they may like that you're new. And maybe they like that you're full of energy and you're so excited to be a doula. And you know, all that stuff. So the other thing is, maybe you're a newer doula, so you're offering a reduced rate, or you don't charge as much. I think you should certainly charge, but you're not charging as much as the really experienced doulas in your town. So maybe for some families, that's the best option that they have. So don't let that, you know, fear of, oh gosh, they're going to hire other people. Think of, you know, a great example of this is that, have you ever noticed how when there's a Home Depot, there's a Lowe's across the street, or they share? In one of the towns near me, Lowe's and Home Depot share a parking lot. So Lowe's and Home Depot aren't like, oh my gosh, or McDonald's and Burger King don't think, oh my gosh, there's already Burger King doesn't think, oh gosh, there's already McDonald's on this street. We're not going to put a restaurant here because probably everyone will just choose McDonald's. Nope, we're going to go plant ourselves right next to them. And that's going to bring in more people that want burgers. And some will go to McDonald's and some will go to Burger King. Some will go to Home Depot, some will go to Lowe's. In my town, Walmart and Target are literally across the street from each other. I mean, that goes for every store, every brand. Everything. People there's multiple plumbers in your town. There's multiple, I don't know. Who else do you hire? There's multiple massage therapists. Some people like this one, some people prefer that one. So again, especially with doula work, it's so personal. Some people are going to really respond to your energy, Tiffany. Some people are going to really respond to other people. Annie, I love it. Annie's doing her first overnight tonight and needed to hear this so badly. Yes. Oh, perfect example All your client, Annie, wants is to sleep tonight. That's the bar. You just need to show up and make sure they get more sleep than they do when no one is there to help them. Boom. They're going to wake up tomorrow morning and be like, Annie, you're amazing. Oh my gosh. So, and Annie, holy moly, do the dishes that are in the sink or fold a basket of laundry that's sitting around. Like, just do tidy up the nursery while you're in there. Like, do a teeny bit more. And I know you'll also be like, you guys are doing a great job. You'll answer 5 of their questions. You'll do more than just show up. I mean, so it'll be great. All right. Oh, hey, Destiny wants to know, how do postpartum doulas that have kiddos at home afford childcare? Well, how do you, I would love to do more. How do you do it for when you go on a birth? Your rate has to include your childcare and, and cover it. It is tough though, because but it's easier, like with pricing packages. So your hourly rate, whatever your package is, your lowest rate for packages has to cover childcare. And that, just work it into your price. So I'm glad that this has been, because it's multiple days versus the day of a birth. I know, but I still think it would be easier to do that, because, it's scheduled. You can schedule a babysitter based on your postpartum shifts versus how do you schedule a babysitter when you don't know when the birth is going to be? So, that's a whole other topic. There's sharing with other doulas. I joined a babysitting co-op, where we traded off babysitting hours. So, the bottom line is though, you have to build childcare into your rate. So the other thing about imposter syndrome is that you kind of have to just fake it till you make it, just jump in, do it, talk yourself up, and then the next time it's not so scary. So for instance, going live on Facebook, or, even just posting your picture and a little bit about yourself, that's can be, you feel these feelings of imposter syndrome come up. You just have to do it and see what happens. Because then most of the time, every time you post and it's like nothing bad happens. And it's the same, like you reach out to the prenatal yoga studio teacher and you say hi and you share your passion for the work that you do, and nothing bad happens. So it's like anything else. The more you do it, you take these baby steps, you build confidence, and then that imposter syndrome starts to diminish, and you keep going and you keep doing it, and you're getting your doula work, you're doing the doula work that you love, and the next thing you know, you have a lot of experience. Tiffany says, this is helpful because I feel oftentimes struggle with confidence and imposter syndrome, feeling like, who am I to do this? Yes. Who are you not to do this? My favorite poem is by Marianne Williamson, and now it's flying out of my head, but I will post it. But it's basically like, we're all afraid, but who am I not to be? Now I have to look it up. Who am I not to be? Marianne. Okay. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, Who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. Oh, no, God, now. Sorry, now. There's a fire starting in my... And there comes some Adele. So, yes, but that's exactly what imposter syndrome is. Who am I to be doing this? Who am I to feel, feel like I can go out there and be a doula? It is difficult, Tiffany, to establish yourself within the an established birth working community. But break it down like this. You're a doula trying to get into a community of other doulas. It's not like you're a doula trying to break into a community of dentists or truckers or cowboys. I don't know, randomly picking things. You're a doula trying to break into a community of other people that have your same fire and passion for supporting birthing people and postpartum families. So I was talking about this the other day. That's my favorite quote about marketing. Marketing is really just about sharing your passion. And Michael Hyatt is the one who said that. So if you view networking as just, you're going to go share your passion with other people who you already know share your passion. Like, you're going to have a great conversation with another doula if you talk about doula work. So that's how you, quote unquote, break into an established birth working community. And yes, you're going to meet some of the experienced doulas who have a scarcity mindset and don't want you around, but you've got to find the doulas that have the abundance mindset, that are like, yes, come on, plenty of room, plenty of families, plenty of babies, plenty of births. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. And those are the people that are, together you'll all grow your businesses. So I hope this has been helpful. And I think really for a lot of people, just naming it, realizing that this is imposter syndrome, when you're having those feelings of, oh, who am I to go out and get doula clients right now? Who are you not to be? There are people, think of your town. There are people right now in labor. They're right now, Tiffany, marketing's where you need help. Go join the doula marketing group. I'm always helping people in there. There's people in labor literally at this moment in your town. That there are dozens, if not hundreds, depending on where you live, new moms home with a newborn who feel like crap, feel like they don't know what they're doing, have a bazillion questions, are sick of Googling it, and feeling alone, scared, and like they're the worst mother in the world. Don't you think they'd benefit from you showing up? And don't you think they would welcome it? Yes. The answer is yes, they would. So, Cheryl, great question. So that is how you get over these feelings of imposter syndrome. Okay, Cheryl, this is another great thing. I'm so glad you mentioned this. Cheryl's in Grover Beach, California. Her imposter syndrome is about being worth the money, especially in my role as a pretty new IBCLC. Yes, I'm so glad you said this, because that's another thing that comes up. Who are we to charge money for being a labor support person or a postpartum doula or offering breastfeeding support? Like, there's this idea that, women have been doing this since the beginning of time. Yes, they have, but now we live in a world where we exchange money for goods and services. So and actually this ties into what Destiny was asking before about how do you charge enough, how do you pay for childcare as a postpartum doula. If you have taken a doula training, and especially if you've become an IBCLC, Cheryl, you have a passion for this work. Because, both trainings and certifications are, there's a lot to it. So if you have this passion, if you want to be able to be a doula full time so that you're doing this work that you love full time, what do you have to earn? $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $25,000. You have a rent or a mortgage, you have electricity bills, you have heat bills, you have food, you have your bills to live in this society. You have to pay those with your doula work if this is what you want to do full time, right? Yes, in some cases somebody's married a sugar daddy and you don't have to earn enough money, but I honestly have not met any doulas like that, any birth workers like that. Anyway, a long way to say that we need to earn enough to pay our bills so that we don't have to go get another job to support ourselves. How does this help, the situation? If you have to go work as an accountant 9 to 5 to pay all your bills, and then you're just sliding in doula work at night and on the weekends, or, when you can get time off. That doesn't work. You can't be on call as a birth doula, right? If you have a 9 to 5 job. You can't really help too many people postpartum if you're working 40 hours a week at another job. So you have to have a rate. You have to charge a rate that will be sure you cover your bills. And part of that is, if you're an IBCLC, what did you pay for all your trainings? How many hours did you put into your work? That is worth money. And again, another little kind of tough love truth bomb is, if you don't do that, this isn't going to work and you're going to have to go back to a different job. So the sooner you can get to a place where you're charging what you're worth, and what your life requires, the better it's going to be, So that was, and again, I struggled with this too when I first started out as a doula. I was like, how can I charge to be a postpartum doula? Like, this is their family should be doing this. This should be just, part of society. Okay, but it's not. And if I'm going to be a doula, I have to earn a certain amount of money so that I don't get my house foreclosed on. So that is what really helped me. Like, if I'm not charging enough, here's what it comes down to. If I'm not charging enough as a doula to pay my own bills, that means I have to take time away from being a doula and not help anybody to go back to my marketing job, which is not, didn't have, yes, you could say I was helping people in a marketing job, but it wasn't the same. The time I would have, the time I would spend at my marketing job would mean that's 8 hours that day that I wasn't helping a new mom as a postpartum doula. All right, LaShonda wants to know, what additional things can we do to get recognized in our community? So join the Doula Marketing Group on Facebook. I'm coming up against the time that I said I would end this, and I really wanted to focus just on imposter syndrome, but Liz Shonda. Also on my website, if you head to the douladarcy.com, you can download my tip sheet on how to start getting doula clients. I have like 5 tips there. It's totally free. Okay, so then this does deal with imposter syndrome. Darcy, I'm wondering, what do you suggest when you start noticing people feel your rates are unaffordable, but you're charging lower end rates? Or let me say it this way, how do you find paying clients that value your services? So this is another thing. Like, yes, there are people out there that deserve doula support that can't afford it. So you have to target communities where the people can. And this is not saying that you only can help rich people. You say it right there, Tiffany. How do you find paying clients that value your services? It's not really so much whether they can afford it, it's whether they value it. I cannot tell you how many times I talk to someone on the phone and they're like, we really need this help, but money's tight and I'm on maternity leave and this, that, and the other thing, and we just can't afford it. Could you offer us a discount? And I used to say, okay, yeah, all right, I guess I could, take $5 an hour off or $10 an hour off. And you know what would happen? I'd get to their house and I'd see their $1,000 stroller and, the piles of takeout boxes. Like, not that I'm judging, but I'm just saying it's the whole idea of people spend $50,000 on a wedding, but then say, oh no, I can't afford a doula. It's where people place the value. So I have had clients who, yes, I've had affluent clients. I've had a lot of clients also. I had one client, they did not have a lot of extra money, but she knew this is what she wanted. She used the Dave Ramsey envelope system. Like, they only paid cash for everything. She had 3 kids. She hired me for all 3 of her kids. The day she peed on a stick, she started an envelope, wrote postpartum doula on it, and tucked money in there. So by the time she got to 40 weeks, she had enough to pay for my services. So people who value it and see the value in it find ways to pay for it. And then, we can get into a whole discussion of, so once you have a certain amount of clients that are paying your full rate, you're paying all your bills. Yes, you can do a pro bono client who can't afford it. Yes, you can donate services here and there. That's how I do it, instead of discounting my rate, lowering my rate for everybody. I charge my full amount that I need, and then when I have time and all my bills are paid, I do pro bono work. So part of that is, spreading the words, using social media, using networking events, using events in the public eye where you're talking about the value that you provide and why it is worth spending the money on. And I also talk to clients prenatally about, put this on your registry. Things like Be Her Village, that, adding doula services to your registry. Ask friends, my line is like, when friends and family ask you what you need, on my website, they can go buy 1 hour of postpartum doula support for a family. So, and they put the mom's name in. So there's ways. So Tiffany, yes, I know you hear a lot. I hear a lot that people can't afford it, but lowering your rate isn't the answer. So another example of this I always talk about is Coach purses. Coach purses are nice and they're good quality, but people will go spend $800 on a Coach bag. A very similar bag is over at TJ Maxx for $39.99 and no one will buy it. but everybody saves and scrimps and does whatever they can to get, not everybody, people do what they have to do to get that coach purse that for whatever reason they believe has that value. So one of the lessons in that is that charging your worth, I'm not saying charging an exorbitant amount, charging your worth shows that your work is valuable. Do you want a $50 haircut or do you want a $5.99, $6 haircut? If someone was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll cut your really thick, unruly hair, it'll be $6. I'd be like, oh gosh, no. They might be the best hairdresser in the world, but at just that price, I'm like, that's like raising a red flag because my normal gal charges whatever. So does that make sense? Like when you're charging the true rate that corresponds to the value of what you provide, you will find the people that will pay it. Yes, and this is what it is. It's a circle of imposter syndrome, and you just have to hit stop, get off that ride, and move forward. So I hope this has been helpful for all of you. Like I said, go join my free Facebook group, the Doula Marketing Group. I'm always in there talking about marketing tips, and I'm going to be going live next week, same time, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, talking about, what am I talking about? Collaboration over competition. So more like working with the other doulas, collaborating with other doulas in your community, not competing with them. Juliana, I'm so glad this was helpful and just what you needed to hear. That is my goal. I don't want you guys stuck home on spinning your wheels in a cycle of imposter syndrome. I want you out there helping. There are so many families, birthing people, new families that need doula support, and I want to help you get over that bridge of helping them find you and helping you have the confidence you need to put yourself out there to do the things you need to do to get them to find you. So I'm glad to hear that this has been helpful. Reach out to me with any questions. I love this stuff. I always say I love talking birth and babies, and I love talking marketing. So I hope that I see you guys soon.